Hello. Today's guide is going to be on node basics. I'll be giving you an introduction to nodes, investing in nodes, spending energy for item drop rate bonuses, and hiring a worker to get resources from nodes. First things first, we'll hit M to open our map. I happen to be in the Calpheon area questing, so I'll just show you Northern Wheat Plantation, for example. If I hover over this, you can see production node information. This is a node where I can get wheat and barley and paprika. We're going to go ahead and get a worker started on one of these. Let's left click Northern Wheat Plantation. And now we can see the barley, wheat, and paprika farming. There are some other things you can do in the node here. Notably, this blue house here has storage and lodging and even a residence. If I wanted to purchase this storage at level 2, for example, this will add 5 extra storage space to Calpheon. This will, however, require 2 contribution points. If you click purchase storage, you can choose level 1 or click the arrow to go to level 2. Either way, it's 2 contribution points. So you should pretty much always choose the highest level available to get the most out of those points. There's a silver cost and a work time. If I click yes, it'll start that 3-minute countdown, and after it's complete, I'll have 5 extra storage spaces. Go ahead and X out of that, and now we'll just click on wheat. When you left click it, you'll see that it'll isolate that wheat farming, but left clicking it further does nothing. There's a red message here that says the preceding node needs to be invested in first. I do not need Northern Wheat Plantation connected to level into these houses, but if I actually want workers coming from Calpheon, I will need to invest in each node from Calpheon to the Northern Wheat Plantation. Here you can see there's a button that says previous node. I'll left click that and it will start navigation, but also give you 3 pillars of light. These are all different nodes that are connected to the Northern Wheat Plantation. You can see the Bernianto farm, but we can't see this farm information here. That's because I actually haven't discovered this node yet. Same with this pillar of light out here. There is a node in the middle of nowhere, but I just haven't discovered that one yet either. This can be one way to find nodes that you haven't discovered yet. For now, I'm going to leave that one alone and actually navigate to this farm here. I'll get out of my map and hit T to start auto-navigating. While you're auto-navigating, you can hit M to open your world map again. The world map is something I often use while my character is auto-navigating. So if I wanted to do something like go back into the Northern Wheat Plantation and click this second house, and maybe I want to invest in this other storage here. This time it'll only require 1 point. Same as before, click storage, then level 2, and yes. As I said before, if there was a level 3 or 4 on this storage, I would recommend using the highest level possible because it will not cost you any more contribution points. Now that my character has finished autopathing to this area, you can see that Diaz Farm has been discovered. And if I look around on my mini-map, it looks like there's a couple NPCs to discover. If you don't know why it's important to go talk to these new NPCs, you might want to go watch my previous guide on knowledge. Alright, now that I've talked to everyone, I'll go ahead and hit M on my map, and you can see this white line connecting Calpheon to Diaz Farm. If I talk to the node manager here, Enzo, and I click number 2 or left click node management, I can now left click invest contribution. To invest in this node, it will cost 2 contribution points. I now have 112 out of 115 available. Since I put a few of those points into upping my storage spaces, I'll left click invest contribution, and now I have 2 options. One option to withdraw that contribution if I change my mind, or I can invest energy. You can hover over the question mark to see more information about that, but I will be covering that here soon. This is not a node we'll be investing energy in, so for now we'll just move on. If I hit escape and then left click Northern Wheat Plantation, now I have the option to invest contribution. If you hover over the button before clicking it, you can see the tooltip that tells you I can either go walk to the node manager, or I can use 10 energy and I can invest in this node remotely. This does require a running value pack. I'll go ahead and left click invest contribution, and now if I hit escape, I can see instead of a white line there's a yellow line connecting DS DS Farms to Calpheon, and scrolling in we can see the same thing, a yellow line connecting DS Farm to Northern Wheat Plantation. Northern Wheat Plantation is now also turned blue instead of gray, and DS Farm has a red outline on the node symbol instead of gray. I will left click back into Northern Wheat Plantation, left click once again on wheat farming, and finally we have the option to invest contribution. This again will list its points required, in this case is just 1. Now that I've invested, it will give me an option to assign a worker. I currently have no available worker. Let's go hire a worker. If you're in a safe zone, you'll have these gray icons by your mini map. You can left click worker, or you can use the find NPC magnifying glass, left click and find worker, left click worker to start navigation. And if I hit M to open my map, I can see navigation set to the closest worker, who happens to be back in Calpheon. We'll go ahead and get on my horse and go back that way. And cut to, we're now at the work supervisor. I'll click R to interact and left click contract workers. As the notice says, it costs 5 energy to hire a worker. It'll tell you your current energy, mine is at 74. Clicking yes will show me my first worker. You do not have to hire the first worker you're given. There are tiers to workers, white being the slowest, green, then blue, orange, and then red. As long as you have some current energy, I would recommend re-rolling until you get at least skilled, blue, professional, orange, or artisan if you're super lucky, which is the reddish color. You can click right here in the middle, view another, and again, it'll remind you it costs 5 energy. Remember, energy replenishes. This is not something that will be all used up and you'll never get it again. It does come back slowly, but as long as you're playing the game actively, your character will get a decent amount of energy every day. I'll go ahead and click yes to see another worker. Along with the color tier, there are also worker types being goblin, human, or giants on most nodes. Goblins being the fastest, but having the lowest stamina. Giants are the most stamina, but slowest workers. And human is pretty much smack dab in the middle. There are certain circumstances where you might want to use a specific one over another, but until you have a lot of high tier workers, I would probably just be looking at the color tier and aiming for that skilled, professional, or artisan red workers, and not focus so much on if it's a goblin or a giant. Instead of clicking view another over and over, you have the option to view continuously. I'll go ahead and left click view continuously, and here you can choose to filter out worker grade. Go ahead and left click this, and you can choose, for example, only blue or skilled grade workers or higher. If you're in no rush, or you've created a decent amount of characters now that all have energy on them, you could choose a higher tier like professional or even artisans only, but do know these are very rare and won't come up super often. I'll go ahead and just leave it on skilled or higher for now. Below that, the number of workers to view by default is 1. I'll left click it and check maximum quantity, and with my current energy I'm able to look at 13 additional workers. I click OK and then view continuously, it will cycle through workers and stop when it gets to a skilled worker. If you decide maybe I don't want a giant and I want a faster worker and choose to re-roll again, that's not a problem. Just click view continuously again, and you'll have to change the amount of times. This time I'm able to do 10, click OK, and view continuously again. It'll cycle through all your workers again and again until you're either out of energy or you've stopped again on the grade you've chosen. My current energy is now only 1, so I'm unable to roll again. For that reason, I'm going to choose to hire this worker by clicking hire worker. Click yes to confirm, and now I have a skilled goblin. You can also hit number 2 or worker exchange, and here you can see listed, for example, Calpheon, a professional giant worker for sale. If I wanted to hire this worker, you can click buy, but if I left click this and hit yes to purchase, you'll see a notification saying not enough lodging for workers. Go ahead and hit escape a few times and then M to open my world map, and on the bottom right of my map I can click worker list. Here it will show all of my workers. Currently it's only the skilled goblin worker I just hired, and it shows that he's idle. If I want to hire more workers in Calpheon, I'll need to left click on Calpheon and find one of these blue houses, for example Market Street 7-3, left click it and find available lodging. This will cost 2 contribution points and will allow me to hire 1 additional worker. I'll click purchase lodging, I'll click yes, and after about 60 seconds I'll be able to hire an additional worker. Once it's complete, you'll see the lodging logo here, and I now have the option to sell this if I no longer need additional lodging, or However, I need my contribution points more than I need my lodging. I'll hit escape a few times, click R to talk to the work supervisor again, and go into the worker exchange. And here by the number 1, you can click through the arrows to see additional workers. There aren't that many listed at this time. I'll go back to page 1, and now we can purchase this giant worker. I'll left click buy and yes to confirm. I get a notification that I've successfully purchased it. Hit escape a few more times, and M to go back to the world map. We'll left click on Northern Wheat Plantation and left click on Wheat Farming, and now we have 2 workers to choose from. If you hover over Skilled Goblin and Professional Giant, you can see the amount of time that it takes to complete is different and is sorted by where the fastest workers are typically on top. Because a goblin is so much faster, even at skilled versus professional giant, it shows up on top here. I won't go into too much about workers, but they also have skills. For example, this skilled goblin worker has quick at a grade of C, and that quick skill gives it movement speed plus 5%. I'll go ahead and hit change because I'd like my worker to get this wheat more than just one time. If you have maximum quantity checked, it'll just put 50,000 in there, and you can click OK. Then we can hit start work. And our skilled goblin worker is now working on wheat. After about an hour and 15 minutes, we'll see wheat in our Calpheon storage. Since I hired that second worker, we might as well put him to work. This time I'll left click on paprika farming, and if I click invest contribution, you can see I now have insufficient energy. Because I used all my energy hiring workers, I no longer have the 10 energy needed to invest in this node remotely. It's not a problem. I'll hit escape a couple times and right click Northern Wheat Plantation to start navigation. Right clicking a node will navigate you to the node manager. We'll go ahead and press R to interact, and then node management, and now we can left click paprika farming and invest contribution. Don't forget to change the amount of times. Click OK and start work. So in roughly an hour and 20 minutes, I'll be able to look at my Calpheon storage to see both wheat and paprika. And that's really the basics for investing in a node and hiring a worker and putting them to work. As you can see, we now have only 104 out of 115 contribution points available. 115 might sound like a lot, but we only have 2 workers and we're already down 11 contribution points. The extra storage is nice for Calpheon City, but as you can see, I am nowhere near full, so I can left click Northern Wheat Plantation and go back to these houses and reclaim some of those contribution points back. If I go to number 1, I can't sell it until I've sold number 2. You can also click check sale conditions, and it'll show you here that number 2 needs to sell first. If you click sell all, it'll get rid of both 2 and 1, giving you back the 3 contribution points. I'll left click that now and then yes to confirm, and I can always come back here and click purchase storage if I wanted these back, and now I'm back up to 107 out of 115. The more you play, the more you'll realize what nodes are worth investing in, and you'll learn what materials you're wanting, depending on if you're doing alchemy or cooking. I'll save that for a future guide though. The last information I'd like to provide on node investment is going to help you get item drop rate when you grind a specific area. Not that I'd be recommending this specific area, I just happen to be here, but if I wanted to, for example, get an item drop rate bonus while I'm killing these monsters, I can right click the node to start navigation to the node manager, walk on over there and press R, node management, and invest contribution, and now we can left click to invest energy. If I hover over the node investment level that I mentioned briefly before, you'll see more information on this. The node starts at level 1 and can go up to 20. Per level you've invested, you're getting a 0.5% bonus for a total of 10% item drop rate once leveled all the way to 20. This is obviously more useful in a higher end spot that drops a rare item like a potion piece or a treasure item, or just accessories that are worth a lot. Again, this is not an area that you're going to be killing a lot of monsters in, and leveling up this node will require a lot of energy. But I do want to share this information so you can at least know that it exists and start putting your energy somewhere if you don't have another use for it every day. It's a bit of a waste to have your character just sitting around with maximum energy not being utilized. Since I just hired hired workers and spent all of my energy. I don't have any to invest anyway, and I don't intend to, so I will go ahead and left click to withdraw a contribution, and I'll click yes to get that point back, and now I'm back up to 107, and that's going to be it for this Node Investment Basics tutorial. If you learned something or this helped you in any way, consider clicking like, subscribe to see when the next guide comes out, consider joining me when I'm live streaming, and until next time, I'll see you later.